The 2025 WNBA season is shaping to be an interesting one. Paige Beckers is the number one pick and going to try to win Rookie of the Year. Angel Wilson is going to try to win back-to-back MVPs and potentially another title with the Aces. Caitlin Clark, the Queen Bee herself, is going to take the next step into elevating into WNBA legend status. Hopefully she wins a WNBA MVP, which I have her projected to be. Then there is Angel Reese. Angel Reese led the league in rebounds last year and was a rival to Caitlin Clark. The rivalry between Reese and Clark was a very, very captivating one, with thousands upon thousands of people attending and millions of people watching. However, the discussion around Reese and Clark can be very, very toxic. We are in an era where the WNBA is seeing growth never before seen, with Caitlin Clark leading the charge in terms of viewership, growth, and revenue. Heck, Caitlin Clark won 4th place in MVP voting last year, and there was some suggesting that Angel Reese could be an Rookie of the Year candidate, which she did have some pretty good stats. 13.6 points, 13.1 rebounds, and 1.3 steals are nothing to laugh at. However, even though I live in Chicago, I still think Clark deserved the MVP. I mean, comparing the stats side by side, it's clear that Caitlin Clark won the MVP. However, there's also, again, she is absolutely on fire this season. She got 4th in MVP voting. However, when it comes to Reese, a lot of people are trying to tear her down, claiming she's a stat pattern. Well, is this true?
We need more observations!
Well, the first thing you look up when you type Angel Reese, there's a lot to unpack. The usual, the clickbaity videos that we've all seen if we've spent at least a day or two on YouTube. They're everywhere. I've been watching YouTube from the past, 10, 15 years. But there's also a sentiment among Angel Reese that she's a stat pattern, that her rebounds aren't legit. They're actually me-bounds, is what some people have used, and it's a pretty common sentiment and topic of discussion. But here's the question: is Angel Reese getting rebounds off her own misses? Well, I took a look at her stats. Now, looking at her stats, she has 5 offensive rebounds, which is a lot, but she also has 8 defensive rebounds, which, if we negated all the offensive rebounds, she'd still be top 10 in terms of rebounds. Then there's her shooting percentage. She does not have a good shooting percentage, unfortunately, with her shooting percentage coming at 39.1%, which is pretty low for a guard. But looking at the averages for all WNBA teams in field goal percentage, it's pretty low. I came up with a total of 43.8 after averaging them out, which is 3% less than the NBA average. Heck, Caitlin Clark, who's been an absolute beast on the court, well, she has a field goal percentage that's lower than the average. Her field goal percentage comes at just 41.7%. And the Chicago Sky, well, they have a really low field goal percentage. In fact, they have the second lowest field goal percentage, which a large part why they went 13-27. But seeing the low field goal percentage, it got me thinking, what if Angel Reese's 5 offensive rebounds a game are actually coming off her teammates' misses? And looking at her teammates' field goal percentage, well, yeah, a lot of them have low percentage, such as Mabry, Evans, Banham, Onyewere, Harrison, DeShields. They all have field goal percentages less than 41.5 or equal to, which is well below the WNBA, which is well below the WNBA field goal percentage average. But that's just a theory. Basketball theory. Okay, please, okay, let me just stop there. But seriously, that is just a theory. Her teammates do not have good field shooting percentages compared to the WNBA average. But does that mean that my theory is actually true? Is Angel Reese getting off boards off her teammates' misses? Well, I went through every single Chicago Sky game to figure out if my theory was actually true. I counted how many times Angel Reese got a board off her own miss, or a me-bound if you want to call it, and after going through all 34 games that she played in and spending over half an hour going through every single game carefully, I found a conclusive number of how many rebounds she has. And that number, out of the 172, is 49 offensive rebounds off her own shot. I may have missed or added extra, so just give or take 2. But even then, she has, again, 172 offensive rebounds to a total of 446 rebounds, which adds up to 5 offensive rebounds, as we have previously stated, which means that just 28.5% of her offensive rebounds are, or 11.2% taking her total rebounds, which means that she would average 11.7 rebounds a game if we negated all her rebounds off her own misses, which means she would still be in second place in rebounds off of, behind MVP Angel Wilson. So yeah, even if we added rebounds off her own misses, she's still averaging 11.5 rebounds a game, and that makes her second place by a country mile. And she is just one of 12 WNBA players, based on what I could find, to achieve the 10 rebound, 10 points a game mark. And look, if this is her rookie season, if she is right now rookie leader in rebounds all time, averaging 13.1. If we took out her rebounds off her own misses, she'd just be behind Tina Charles. Tina's at 11.71 and Angel's at like 11.67 according to the math. So it seems that most of her offensive rebounds are just off her teammates' misses. And again, the Sky have a pretty bad shooting percentage compared to the rest of the WNBA. So it seems that Angel Reese needs to get players who are better shooters than her. And if she can increase those defensive rebounds and increase her shooting percentage and maybe develop a jump shot, she could be one of the best players in the WNBA in a couple of years. And have the Sky done that, getting her better shooters? Well, they got 2 players, Courtney Vandersloot and Kia Nurse, and I looked at their 2023 stats. Vandersloot was on the champion New York Liberty, averaging just 6.4 points and 44.5% from the field. She doesn't take a lot of shots, it seems, but hopefully she can help the team. And then there's Kia Nurse, who's played all 40 games, has more points, seems to take more shots, but only 38.8%. So it looks like Angel hasn't got the help she needs but I don't know. Again, I'm a new fan in the WNBA, so maybe these players are actually good and I'm just missing something. I've just been tracking Reese and Clark. So any longtime WNBA fans, please provide your input on Vandersloot and Nurse. Do they fit into the Sky's offensive system? Please let me know. Alright, so we've established that Reese is actually pretty good. She is a top rebound taker. She's done something that only 12 WNBA players have done. And when talking about the rapid growth of the WNBA, Reese had this to say.
And be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watch women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too.
However, is Reese right? Looking at
We need more observations!
Looking at the Instagrams of both players, Clark has 3.1 million followers, which is not surprising at all. I mean, it's Caitlin Clark. But Angel Reese has nearly 5 million followers. Now, of course, talk show, I think that's where she said that she'd go on strike with there's no equal pay. But if Caitlin Clark had her own talk show, there is no doubt in my mind that she would have way more of Instagram followers than Angel Reese. Now, obviously, IG followers don't tell the whole story. What about attendance? These are the 2023 attendance numbers for both teams. Now, here are the 2024 attendance numbers. The Fever were horrific last season, and Clark managed to take a basement dweller to the WNBA playoffs. And if we look at growth based on both teams, we'll see that Angel Reese grew her attendance by 21% and Clark grew her attendance by nearly 320%. You might be saying, well, Reese has half the attendance that Clark's Fever are getting. Well, the Winchester Arena only holds less than 10,500 people, while Gainbridge holds 18,000 people. That is double than what Winchester Arena holds. And if we took a percentage basis of how many seats were how much was the stadium filled, the Sky have an 84.3%. Meanwhile, the Fever have around 94.6%. But again, the Fever are the main culprits of the Caitlin Clark effect. Now for the Sky's attendance, I actually compiled the change of growth for each team. As you can see that the Sky are just fifth fifth in attendance out of 9 for all the teams with at least 10,000 fans that can sit in their arenas. Now, obviously, it's for the percentage-wise, the Sky are third. It seems that the Sky are mostly being carried by the growth of the WNBA in general. I mean, the WNBA has grown so much this past year, and I'm pretty sure thousands of people have said this thousands of times. However, that doesn't mean Reese isn't a part of this growth of the WNBA. She is second in WNBA jersey sales behind Caitlin Clark, and I do not think haters would buy the jersey of the player that they hate. But again, this just shows how big the Clark and Reese rivalry is and how entertaining it is to watch. I mean, heck, the first game of the season for the Stein Fever is between each other, and it's played in the United Center, which is the largest basketball arena, excluding, I guess, Syracuse's arena, or just a professional arena in general. Largest professional non-NCAA arena in basketball. And yeah, I am really excited for the growth of the WNBA. And let me just tell you something. Is Angel Reese the nicest person in the world? No. But does that mean she deserves to be torn down or is a stat pattern? No. Many athletes around the world are role models. They're people to follow after. But there are so many bad people who play athletics, but sports are just entertainment. It's your job to make sure that you practice the right values and be a decent human being. Angel may not be the best player, but she's hell of an entertaining. And speaking of Angel Reese, when you type her name on YouTube, you get a lot of clickbaity-esque results. And that's not just Angel Reese, it's Caitlin Clark also. There were talks of her going to Europe, but if you've been following Caitlin for the past few months, you'll know that she's actually decided to play golf instead of pursuing more money in the European leagues. While clickbait is part of social media and sports in general, this goes way too far, way too far. Looking at thumbnails, it's pure misinformation and pure slop, so just try to avoid it. These look to me as content farms. And I find it funny that people point out that Caitlin Clark is being unfairly criticized. But at the same time, some of these same people will go ahead and tear down not just Angel Reese, but also tear down other players, which has been something that's happening unfortunately for a while. Criticism is fine. Not everyone or everything is perfect, but tearing down and going out of your way to rip someone off or something off is just, I don't understand. Like the WNBA for a while, I don't find some music artists entertaining, but I don't go leave rude and mean comments on their music videos. We need to foster a society that encourages people to grow. Again, criticism is fine, but studies show that mistake-friendly environments help people succeed and grow better than mistake-unfriendly environments. This is a message also to the Caitlin Clark haters. Caitlin is a big factor in why your league is seeing a renaissance. You need to encourage this type of growth. The media too. The media needs to use Caitlin Clark to spotlight other players. There are 144 WNBA players. I'm sure there are plenty who are extremely talented and could use that spotlight, and Caitlyn could really help them get that spotlight. All I'm saying is that Angel Reese, as we saw, is not a stat patter, and her stats are legit, as we've seen from this entire video, and that the WNBA needs positivity more than ever with Caitlyn Clark. I know I can't convince everyone, but if you liked the video or found it interesting, be sure to subscribe. I'm trying to reach 700 subscribers, and make sure to drop a like. Thank you for watching.